Welcome back, everyone. In this episode of Duty and Valor, I'm diving into the incredible story of Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Gerald Young, a true American hero. Colonel Young's bravery during the Vietnam War is a stuff of legends. As a helicopter pilot, he put his own life on the line time and again to save others, but it was one particular daring rescue mission in 1967 that cemented his place in history as a Medal of Honor recipient. This is his story. Gerald was born on May 19, 1930, in Chicago to parents Orrin and Ruth Young. During his teen years, the U.S. was fighting in World War II, which led to a deep-seated patriotism in Gerald. By the time he was old enough to enlist in the military, the war had ended, though this didn't stop him. In 1947, at the age of 17, he enlisted in the Navy and trained as an aviation technician. He served until 1952 and then returned home. After a few years, he knew civilian life wasn't for him, and he re-enlisted in the Navy in 1955. While in the Navy, he applied for and was accepted into the Air Force Aviation Cadet Training Program in 1956. He transferred into the Air Force, and 2 years later he was commissioned as a second lieutenant on June 18, 1958. After completing training, Lieutenant Young was assigned as a helicopter support pilot in the Marshall Islands in support of Operation Hard Track 1, a nuclear weapons testing program. Lieutenant Young was then stationed in Japan for 1 year before being sent stateside to bases in Wyoming, Texas, Louisiana, and Kansas. During the Vietnam War, Young, who was now a captain, was sent to Da Nang Air Force Base. He was a rescue pilot with the 37th Air Rescue and Recovery Squadron, where he flew the Sikorsky HH-3E Jolly Green Giant helicopter, with the call sign Jolly 26. In the early hours of November 9, 1967, Captain Young was sent on his 60th combat mission of the war. He was sent out with 4 other aircraft on a rescue mission of a joint U.S. and South Vietnamese Army reconnaissance team that were all wounded and surrounded by enemy forces near Khe Sanh. The team was stuck on a steep slope, making rescue extremely difficult. Earlier, 2 helicopters attempting a rescue were downed by enemy ground fire. Captain Young was tasked with supporting another helicopter, Jolly 29, as it maneuvered into position to rescue the men. With the area illuminated by parachute flares dropped from a C-130 Hercules transport plane, Jolly 29 was able to rescue 3 soldiers before it was badly damaged by ground fire. The pilot of that helicopter told Captain Young to abandon any other rescue attempt, as the gunfire was too intense. However, Captain Young and his crew wouldn't heed that advice, as there were still 2 men on the ground with the enemy moving closer. Captain Young brought his helicopter as close to the ground as he could. Due to the steep slope, he was hovering with only 1 wheel on the ground. One of the men aboard Jolly 26 was Air Force pararescueman Sergeant Larry Macy. As soon as the helicopter was low enough, Sergeant Macy jumped out and raced down the steep slope to the 2 wounded men. He was able to get them safely aboard when an enemy rocket-propelled grenade struck the number 1 engine just before Captain Young was able to take off. The engine exploded, causing the helicopter to turn over. It then slid down the hill and into a ravine where it burst into flames. When the helicopter came to a stop, still inverted, Captain Young was hanging upside down by his seatbelt. He was able to kick out the window and release himself, but not before the flames reached him and set his clothing on fire. He then fell to the ground and put out the flames. Though seriously burned, he turned his focus on rescuing survivors. Quickly surveying the scene, he was able to only find 1 man still alive. That man was also badly injured and unconscious. With the enemy closing in, Captain Young moved the other man from the crash site and did his best to conceal him in some undergrowth. He then led the enemy away to give rescuers a chance at saving the wounded man and recovering the bodies of the others. Around dawn, Captain Young found a clearing in the jungle. He felt that he had lost his pursuers, so he radioed for help. As helicopters neared his position, he sent up flares to guide them towards him. However, Captain Young had to send the rescuers away as he had spotted the enemy nearby, setting up firing positions ready to ambush any incoming helicopters. Throughout the day, Captain Young continued to evade the enemy. Though he was moving in broad daylight, he was able to utilize the thick jungle to his advantage, giving him much-needed concealment. After trekking for 6 miles and 17 hours after crashing, Captain Young was finally able to call for a rescue, and he was safely extracted. Though not many survived this rescue mission, Captain Young's fortitude and courage in leading the enemy away led to the wounded man being rescued, all bodies of the U.S. servicemen being recovered, and ensured the safety of the rescue crews who flew in after him. After being rescued, Captain Young returned to the U.S. He spent 3 months in a hospital where he was treated for severe burns to over 25% of his body. For his actions that day, Captain Gerald Young was presented the Medal of Honor by President Lyndon Johnson on May 14, 1968. Captain Young remained in the Air Force until June 30, 1980, when he retired as a lieutenant colonel. The men reported killed in action when Jolly 26 went down were as follows: Captain Ralph Brower, the co-pilot, Staff Sergeant Eugene Clay, the flight engineer, Sergeant Larry Macy, the para-rescueman, and the 2 soldiers that they had attempted to rescue, Army Master Sergeant Bruce Baxter and Army Specialist 4 Joseph Cusick. I tried, but I couldn't find the name of the one man who Captain Young pulled from the crash site, or if he survived his wounds. For their heroism in the rescue attempt, Captain Brower, Staff Sergeant Clay, and Sergeant Macy were posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross. Lieutenant Colonel Gerald Young exemplified the highest standards of courage, dedication, and selflessness. Despite his helicopter being shot down and suffering severe burns, Young refused to abandon his mission. Colonel Young's legacy serves as an enduring inspiration, demonstrating the incredible feats that can be achieved through courage, resilience, and a deep sense of duty. Thank you for listening to this episode of Duty and Valor. To read more about this week's hero, check out the sources used in today's episode in our show notes and at dutyandvalor.com. If you want to listen to our episodes early, we release new episodes on our YouTube channel of the same name on Fridays at 5 p.m. Also on our channel, we release daily YouTube shorts that highlight our nation's heroes, most of whom haven't been featured on our show yet. Be sure to like, follow, and share our episodes. And please join us for our next episode, where we'll be sharing the inspiring story of another American hero who served with pride and lived with humility.